Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with A Trumpet for My People. I want to share some information with you about the timeline of Daniel and how it might be connected to January 24th, 2020. We know that January 3rd is an extremely important marker on the Hebrew calendar as the end of the 70 years, a 21-day battle that takes us to January 24th, 2020. The war has already begun on January 3rd, the war with Persia. Okay, so January 24th. But now if we want to connect January 24th to the 1260 days or the 1335 days, then I want to share some information with you that I see, okay? Now, if we go back from January 24th, 2020, 1260 days. 1260 days takes us to August 12th, 2016. On this day, Donald Trump made this statement, and he did not apologize. He very adamantly stated, I really meant it when I said Obama was the founder of ISIS, okay? So this is mainstream news. It's not just a conspiracy theory, it's a known fact. Okay, Donald Trump came out clearly and said, I'm not joking, it's an absolute truth. Obama founded ISIS. Now, sometime earlier, and this is on YouTube, you can go and search this video and get the video and audio of this, but Barack Obama clearly stated in this news conference and in the White House press conference that they are training ISIS forces, okay? They're training ISIS forces, okay? Now, this just came up a few days ago. The importance of this fact just came up a few days ago when it was on the mainstream news again that the man who was in charge of the United States Embassy in Baghdad, the attack on the embassy was done by a leader who Obama had welcomed to the White House, okay? So the fact that Obama is the leader of the terrorists, okay? And this to me would seem like another type of covenant, another type of agreement with the many to unleash the terrorists, to do their dirty work, to prepare them to strike in the day and the hour and the month and the year when it's time. They have a completely equipped and fully trained army ready to do their dirty work. And so we have a 3.5-year time marker, which at the end of this video I will show you, because I put the slide at the end of the video, that the day that Donald Trump said this was the 8th of Av, okay? 8th of Av, and between the temples being destroyed and other disastrous events that has overtaken Israel, between the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th of Av, it's the day for the destruction of the temples. And so this is the time of year within one day of the 9th of Av, the 9/11, okay, that Donald Trump stated Obama is the founder of ISIS. Well, so if we go forward then, okay, we have 1,260 days going back. Now, we've seen so many timelines going back to 2009 and the Barack Obama Nobel Peace Prize and the abomination event that took place on March 22nd, 2013. We saw how all of that connected by 1,335 days to the Revelation 12 sign and the conception comet, the beginning of the Revelation 12 sign when Jupiter was entering Virgo. Okay? And so we've seen all of these timelines, and what has given me that understanding is that we have all of these things that have happened previous to where we are now, so that we can understand that when the time comes for the Great Tribulation to begin, that all of the prophecies in many ways have already been fulfilled and that the days have been shortened. Okay, I'm in no way in agreement with a 7-year Great Tribulation, nor am I in agreement that there are only there are still 3.5 years that remain. I believe, just as it says in Revelation 12:12, that when the devil is cast down to earth, he comes with great wrath, knowing he has a short time. Short time, to me, gives me the understanding of less than a year, because time in the Bible represents a year. Time times and half a time is 3.5 years. If the devil has a short time, then that means it's a time shortened, less than 1 year. This is, to me, what I have been seeing, and the way we have advanced, we're already past, really, I mean, the 70 years are basically over, right? I mean, we're looking at 1948, and we're already in 2020, 72 years, and there are other things that happened that line up right now with 70 years. But all of these things that have happened previous have been for us to understand that the time is short. So if we go forward 75 days, okay, 1,260 days back and 75 days forward is 1,335 days, okay? So if we go forward from January 24th, 75 days, it brings us to April 8th, 2020, which is Passover. And I find this amazing that we are focused right now on January 24th. Going back 1,260 days brings us to the 9th of Av, or the 8th of Av, within 1 day. And going forward 75 days brings us to Passover. So between the 9th of Av and Passover, in a 3.5 year time frame, there are 1,335 days. That is a very interesting time frame, seeing that, the timing of the Great Tribulation beginning on the 9th of Av. I think that the times of tribulation have seriously ramped up. We are definitely beyond, we're beyond the part of the beginning of the tribulation. We're well into the tribulation, all the signs and all the persecutions and all the disasters and the world events that have happened. What we have not seen yet is the Great Tribulation. And so the Great Tribulation is the final portion of the tribulation period, the wrath of God, which to me entails the bowls of wrath, which will endure a very short time. So 75 days, now that would be an amazing time frame on what could be the Great Tribulation, 75 days of Great Tribulation. And day 1,335 being Passover. Okay. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. Now there's something else I wanted to add to this, because it says that after the battle of Gog and Magog, it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto Gog a place there of graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamon-Gog. In 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Okay, so there's the return of Jesus Christ and the burial of Gog in Israel. And then it says they're cleaning up the land for 7 months. Yea, and all the people of the land shall bury them. It shall be to them a renown that day, that I shall be glorified, saith the Lord God. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land, to bury the passengers, to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. So, if the return of Christ is in the first month during Passover, then they have 7 months to clean up the land by the time we reach the 7th month. And what is also known, the Feast of Trumpets, as the crowning of the King of Kings. The Feast of Trumpets, the crowning of the King of Kings. Because this is the way I've seen it, that, if Jesus came back on the Feast of Trumpets at the end of the tribulation, many people, we can kind of, what we have to do is we have to see where we are. We have to see all the signs, what is really happening. I definitely have disagreed over the years with all those who say that the rapture will only happen on the Feast of Trumpets. If this year passed, we got to wait another year. And we've got to stay vigilant at all times. And right now, the signs are showing, and the war has already begun. Okay, the war has already begun. On the day that I shared with you, that would be the key marker of the 70 years, January 3rd. Okay, January 2nd in the United States, January 3rd in Israel, January 3rd in the Middle East. And it's all happening right now. So it's already begun. So for those who think that there's still a long time that remains before the wrath, or before the great war begins, or before the rapture of the church, well, I think all the signs are true that we're right here. It's upon us. It's upon us. So if the return of Jesus Christ, the second coming of Christ, was on Passover, then they would have 7 months, to the 7th month, from the first month to the 7th month, to clean up the land. And that on the Feast of Trumpets, then, in the 7th month, it would be the crowning of the King of Kings. The land would be cleaned, and the Millennium would officially begin. Now, the land is cleansed. And we have a New Jerusalem, clean and beautiful and bright, for our King of Kings to enter into glory and to receive his throne. Okay? Because the day he returns is not going to be a crowning ceremony. He's coming back, and he's going to wage war. Okay? He's going to wage war on his enemies. There's going to be a time frame between his return and his crowning, okay? And I find it interesting that in the book of Ezekiel, after the battle of Gog and Magog, there are 7 months to clean up the land, okay? And to me, this would fit perfectly with the crowning of the King of Kings on the Feast of Trumpets. The Day of Trumpets pictures the most exciting change in world leadership to happen in history, the crowning of the King of Kings. Okay? Not necessarily his second coming, but his crowning. Okay? So as I said, I wanted to share with you that August 12th, 2016 was the 8th of Av. It coincides with the timing of the destruction of the temples. And it was on this day, 1,260 days before January 24th, 2020, that Donald Trump confirmed I really meant it when I said Obama was the founder of ISIS. Now, who can deny this, seeing that the very leader of the attack on the United States Embassy in Baghdad was a personal guest of Barack Obama in the White House? Okay, I mean, this is the stuff that we need to understand. Okay, aiding and abetting the beast, the seventh king. You know, the beast has what? 7 heads and 10 horns, right? He's not alone. Okay, Obamacare still exists. The news came out this week that after 3 years of Donald Trump being in office, he still has not been able to find a replacement for Obamacare. Okay, so Barack Obama is no longer president, but Obamacare, the number of his name continues, okay? So, okay, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I think this would be an excellent scenario, a great possibility. 75 days of great tribulation, taking us to Passover, April 8th, 2020, for the second coming of Christ and the final battle of Armageddon. I pray you are blessed today. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.